Congratulations on this absolutely spectacular museum. My fondest memories, I think when I was 5 years old, my parents took me to Disneyland, and I'll never forget it. And henceforth, I have 2 boys and never stopped taking them to Disneyland, Disney World. It's just fantastic family memories. How difficult was it for you both to just accumulate all of this stuff and get this museum going?
That was difficult. It took a lot of, we didn't have anything except the personal things like the train, you know, the awards, all that stuff. Every piece of art in here, Walt and I have purchased, and for the museum, and it's an ongoing.
But we worked closely. The Walt Disney Company loaned us many of these. They opened up archives to us, and so it was an accumulation of a process of telling the story and getting the story points, and it took quite a while.
We had access to everything in the archives, his letters of early period that I had never seen before.
Aside from just all, the amazing things that Walt did in his life, what was the most important reason for you to have this museum put together?
Well, I realized so strongly that people didn't really know there was a man named Walt Disney. They knew the brand, they knew the product, but even my children and grandchildren have had people say, there really was a Walt Disney? And he was a good man, and we felt it was important to have him tell his story. And fortunately, he was very accessible to anyone who wanted interviews and all that, and we had a lot of his own voice that you'll hear throughout this museum.
Absolutely. And in the end, I mean, especially to you, well, having him been your father, he must have just been dad, and grandpa, it wasn't always, I was reading a really great statement down there how he wanted to keep the studio and everything separate, and you were the family. Wow, how hard was that for him maybe to do?
I think he needed to come home to that. The strong family, his whole background is his mother, his father. It was a very strong family unit, and he wanted to come home to, his own place. The studio, was exciting, of course. Gosh, he built it, but you seem to get it. He was just a dad. Grandpa.
Yeah, but still, growing up, I mean, it had to have been pretty amazing in the back of your minds going, oh my goodness, look what he's given to the world.
I think the older I got, the more aware I was of that. And how about you?
Yeah, what was it like for you as a grandson, to have all that kind of at your fingertips?
Well, I didn't really realize it until like 2nd grade. My friends came up to me and said, is it true your grandpa's Walt Disney? And then it kind of dawned on me. And then, then it just, realizing that and seeing what he did, and, it's a pretty amazing thing he did.
Yeah. Of course, the world's going to be able to learn more about this. It's only been open for a year, but when we get the Fantasia DVD and the Blu-ray release, what are you hoping that people will, I'm guessing that animators will especially really thrive from coming here and looking at cells and things like that, too. Is that what you're hoping?
Well, we just wanted his life to be available to anybody who was interested in it. And this is a wonderful place to be able to do it, I think.
But it's a great story. It's a great American story, and it's a great story about the men and women that helped him do this too. I mean, he was most proud of the organization he put together, and it delves into all the men and women that helped build the company.
You see them, you hear from some of them
it's amazing.
too.
It takes a village, doesn't it?
It sure does. Right.
I know you were very young when Fantasia did come out, but do you recall your first memory of seeing it? And why do you think this movie has endured? I mean, it will forever and ever.
I loved it. I loved the pastoral the most that time, but now I love it all. But I think it had an impact on me. The music. It's the first time I had heard the Pastoral Symphony, Toccata and Fugue. Nutcracker was something we were all familiar with in the early time, but not that Nutcracker. It's so magnificent. I think it still is.
Yeah, well, as are all the films. Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you both, and good luck with this museum. It's fantastic. Can't wait to bring my kids.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.